Evan Marlowe stood at the wide window of the Earth diplomatic ship Horizon Star, watching the alien planet Lorenia slowly turn below him. It looked like a glowing pearl wrapped in soft blue clouds and bright silver rings. Even from orbit, the world seemed calm, elegant, and full of gentle light. Evan had seen many planets in the past year of his training, but none looked as peaceful as this one. He checked his uniform again, smoothing the small badge that marked him as a junior linguistics officer. He was only 23, and this was his first time joining a real diplomatic mission. He had practiced greetings, formal bows, and polite sentences for weeks. He knew exactly how to speak Lorenian language at least. He hoped so. The Lorenian vowels sang like music, and he worried that his voice would crack if he tried too hard. "Relax, Evan," said Commander Hale, a tall woman with calm eyes. "You're not giving a speech. You're only delivering a welcome message." Evan nodded, even though he didn't feel relaxed at all. "I know, ma'am. Just a simple greeting. That's all. That's all," she repeated with a smile. Lorenians are gentle people, very formal, but very polite. They value respect above everything. Evan took a deep breath. Respect. He could do respect. He had practiced holding his shoulders straight, keeping his hands still, and using the right honor words. He felt ready at least until the transport shuttle began to descend. The shuttle glided through the soft atmosphere and passed over long fields of crystal trees. The branches sparkled like glass, and strange glowing birds danced between them. Everything shimmered as if touched by tiny stars. Evan stared with wide eyes. Earth had nothing like this when the shuttle landed. The doors opened to reveal the Lorenian royal courtyard. It was made of smooth silver stone that reflected the pale pink sky above. Tall crystal spires rose like giant flowers, each shaped with beautiful curves. The air smelled like fresh water and something softly sweet. A group of Lorenian attendants greeted the shuttle. They were tall, graceful beings with gentle faces and glowing patterns along their cheeks. Their clothing shimmered like soft woven light. Evan tried to follow the commander's lead, bowing exactly as she did. One of the attendants stepped forward and spoke in a melodious voice. Evan's translator earpiece picked up the words gently. "Welcome, honored guests. Princess Elira awaits your presence." Commander Hale blinked. "Princess Elira?" She looked at Evan for a moment, then back at the attendants. "We were told we would meet members of the Cultural Council." "Not, Her Highness has made a personal request," the attendant said politely. Evan felt his stomach tighten. A princess? Why would a princess want to meet them? He suddenly wished he had gone over the bowing rules one more time still. The group followed the attendants into a long hall filled with soft glowing lights. The floor felt warm under their feet, and the walls reflected tiny patterns like falling rain. Everywhere Evan looked, he saw art-carved shapes, soft colors, and gentle designs. The Lorenians seemed to create beauty in everything they touched after a short walk. They entered a large chamber. It was round and open, with a high ceiling shaped like a star. Crystal pillars lined the room, glowing softly, and at the far end stood the princess. Princess Elira was unlike anything Evan had imagined. Her skin shimmered with soft lavender tones, and delicate blue light flowed along lines near her temples like natural decoration. Her hair looked like strands of silver water, falling gracefully past her shoulders. Her eyes were wide, bright, and quietly curious, holding a light that seemed to shift with every small movement she made. Evan felt like he had stepped into a painting. Commander Hale bowed deeply. Evan quickly followed, trying his best not to trip over his own feet. His mouth felt dry, and his palms felt warm. Princess Elira moved toward them with slow, elegant steps. "We welcome the travelers from Earth," she said in a soft yet steady voice. "It is a pleasure to meet you." Her voice sounded like a gentle melody, and Evan froze. He had practiced greetings many times, but now his mind felt completely empty. All the vowels he memorized, all the polite lines he repeated 100 times gone. He stood there, staring like someone who had forgotten how to speak. Commander Hale began introducing the team professionally, but Evan barely heard her. He was to focus on the princess's glowing features and calm expression. "In this," Commander Hale said, turning slightly, "is Evan Marlowe, our junior linguistics officer. Evan felt all eyes on him. His heart thumped loudly. He opened his mouth to offer the formal greeting he had practiced so many times. Nothing came out. Princess Elira looked at him with gentle curiosity. "Do you speak for your people, young linguist?" Evan tried again. Still nothing. His voice simply refused to cooperate. His translator earpiece flickered softly, as if confused by his silence. He could feel his cheeks warming. The princess waited patiently, her expression calm and kind. He had to say something, anything. His brain finally pushed out the only words he could manage, words that were not part of any script. Not formal, not diplomatic, not planned at all. You're so beautiful I can't speak." The room fell silent. Commander Hale's eyebrows shot up. The attendants blinked. Evan felt his whole body tense. "Why did I say that?" he shouted in his mind. Why now? Of all things, why that?" Princess Elira, however, reacted in a way he did not expect. She paused completely. She didn't blink. She didn't move. Her eyes widened slightly, and the soft glowing lines on her temples brightened. Evan felt his heart stop. He knew he must have said something terribly incorrect. Maybe compliments were not allowed. Maybe he had broken a rule so important that even the princess was shocked. After a long, breathless moment, the princess spoke again. "Repeat your words," she said softly. "Not angry, not offended, just curious." Evan swallowed hard. His voice trembled. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I couldn't think. And you looked. You're..." Princess Elira lifted one hand gently. "You said, so beautiful." "I can't speak." She repeated his words slowly, tasting them thoughtfully. Such direct expression, such plain honesty. Evan wished he could melt into the floor, but instead of disapproval, the princess's expression softened. For the first time, she smiled. It was a small smile, quiet, but full of light. "Your words carry sincerity," she said. "A human truth." Commander Hale stepped forward carefully. "Your Highness, I assure you the officer meant no disrespect. There is no disrespect." Elira answered calmly. "There is only surprise." She looked at Evan again. Lorenians rarely speak admiration in such a simple and open way. Our customs require ceremony and ritual for expressions of beauty. Evan blinked. "Oh, I didn't know." "That is clear," she said gently, and her smile grew a little wider. The attendants whispered softly among themselves. Evan noticed that they looked at him with new interest, as if he had done something unusual or important without understanding it. Princess Elira's gaze remained on him. "Human Evan," she said in her soft melodic voice, "you have offered a kind truth in a moment of sincerity. Such words are rare on Lorenia." Evan felt his heart calm slightly, though his cheeks still burned. "I thank you," he replied, hoping it sounded respectful. The princess tilted her head slightly. "I would like to speak with him further." She looked at Commander Hale. "May he remain after the formal greeting?" Commander Hale hesitated only a moment. "If that is your wish, Your Highness." Elira nodded. "It is." Evan's stomach fluttered. He had no idea why she wanted to talk to him. He had no idea what he would say. He only knew one thing. His simple, unplanned compliment had changed something. He didn't know what yet, but he felt the shift in the room. It was the beginning of something he could not yet understand. Evan Marlowe stood quietly as the rest of the Earth delegation completed their formal introductions. His heart still beat faster than normal, and his mind replayed his embarrassing moment again and again. He wished he could turn back time and speak the practiced greeting instead of what had slipped out. But he could not. When the formal welcome ended, Princess Elira gestured for the other delegates to follow to attendance, who would show them the palace gardens. Then she turned toward Evan. "You will remain," she said with a gentle tone. Evan nodded, unsure what else to do. He felt like a student called to the front of the class after making a mistake. Yet the princess's expression held no anger, only curiosity and calm interest. When the others were gone, the chamber grew quiet. Soft light from the crystal pillars reflected across the floor like gentle waves. Princess Elira walked slowly toward Evan, her steps smooth and graceful. He noticed again that she moved like someone who had spent a lifetime learning how to glide, not walk. You are nervous, she said softly. Evan tried to smile. A little bit. Is it because you spoke without thinking? Yes, he admitted. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break any rules. Elira shook her head softly. You broke no rules, but you surprised me. She paused for a moment. Your words were clear, simple, and sincere. They were not dressed in ritual or ceremony. Lorenians never speak such things without weeks of preparation. Evan blinked. Weeks? Yes, she replied gently. To speak admiration is not casual for us. It is considered an important emotional expression. One must be certain. One must be prepared. Evan hesitated. Humans say things like that all the time. We don't plan every word. Exactly, she said, her eyes brightening as if she had solved a puzzle. That is what fascinates me. You speak freely. You allow emotion to shape your sentences without fear. Evan scratched the back of his neck. Sometimes we're afraid, he said honestly. But even then, the words come out anyway. The princess looked at him as if he had said something profound. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The chamber felt huge and quiet, but not uncomfortable. Evan noticed how the light on her face shifted in soft patterns. She didn't feel distant like a royal figure. She felt calm and thoughtful, like someone trying to understand him. Would you walk with me? She asked suddenly. Yes. Of course. Evan straightened quickly. Elira led him through a tall archway into a long hallway filled with floating lights. The lights drifted gently like soft lanterns carried by a breeze. Evan watched them with open wonder. These are lumen crystals, Elira explained. They respond to emotion. The brighter ones sense curiosity. Evan glanced around. They're all bright. Elira looked at him with a small smile. Yes. Then she added, they glow brightly around humans more than most species. Evan wasn't sure what that meant, but he followed her to a quiet garden room. It was filled with glowing plants shaped like spirals and soft petals. The air was warm and smelled like gentle fruit. Sit, she said, gesturing toward a curved crystal bench. Evan sat carefully, still trying to appear respectful. The princess sat opposite him, her posture perfect and serene. I wish to understand humans better, she said. I wish to understand you. Me? Evan pointed to himself. Yes, she replied softly, because your words carried no fear or ceremony. They carried a simple truth, and that is something rare on Lorenia. Evan wondered if he should feel honored or worried. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. There's no trouble, she said again, gently. Only curiosity. She folded her hands in her lap. Tell me, Evan, why do humans speak compliments so freely? Do they not worry about misunderstanding? Evan thought for a moment. Sometimes people misunderstand, he admitted. But humans, we connect with each other through simple words. We don't always need big ceremonies. Sometimes we just say what we feel. Elira listened carefully, nodding slowly. So feelings guide speech? Sometimes, he said with a shy smile. Sometimes too much. The princess's expression softened. But this is powerful. Honest expression. It carries the speaker's truth at that moment. Evan had never heard compliments described like that. We just think being honest is easier, he said. If we admire something, we say so. If we're confused, we say that too. It doesn't have to be complicated. Elira leaned forward slightly. On Lorenia, feelings are rarely spoken aloud. We believe they are delicate. We protect them behind ritual. But perhaps we protect them too much. Evan didn't know what to say. He was just a junior linguistics officer. Yet here he was, explaining human emotion to an alien princess who seemed truly interested. Elira studied him for a moment. Your people are very expressive, she said. Your stories, your music, your greetings, even your mistakes carry emotion openly. Is that bad? Evan asked softly. No. Her voice grew warm. I think it is. Beautiful. Evan felt his face grow warm again. He looked down at his hands. Thank you, he said quietly. Elira stood and walked a few steps toward a large glowing plant, touching one of its soft petals. Earth has much to teach us, she said. I believe your expression, your honesty, could help Lorenia understand new ways to connect. Evan tilted his head. Connect how? In friendship, she said. In cooperation. In understanding each other. She turned back toward him. The High Council does not always see things the way I do. They follow old customs. They believe emotion must stay hidden and controlled. She paused. But I believe your people's way has value. Evan straightened. If I can help, I'd like to. Elira smiled again, this time more openly. I am glad. I would like to learn more of human culture. Your stories, your music, your ways of speaking. Will you teach me? Evan blinked in surprise. Teach you? Yes, the princess said. Teach me why humans speak from the heart. Evan had never heard a request so unexpected. He wasn't a teacher. He wasn't a diplomat. He wasn't even a senior officer. But he felt something shift inside him, a sense that this moment mattered. I can try. He said sincerely. Trying is enough, she replied gently. For a moment, the garden felt quiet and warm around them, as if the plants themselves listened to their conversation. Evan felt the tension in his shoulders melt a little. The princess didn't treat him like a mistake or an embarrassment. She treated him like someone who had something valuable to share. Suddenly, soft footsteps approached. An elderly Lorenian scholar entered the garden slowly. He wore flowing fabric of pale gold and carried a long crystal tablet. Your Highness, he said with a respectful bow. Pardon my interruption. The council wishes to speak with you. Princess Elira nodded with calm respect. I will join them shortly. The scholar's eyes flicked curiously to Evan, as if trying to understand why a human stood alone in the princess's private garden. But he said nothing and left. When he was gone, Elira turned to Evan again. It seems our time is short today, she said. But I wish to meet you again. Tomorrow, perhaps. Evan stood quickly. Yes, princess. Whenever you want. Elira's voice softened. You may call me Elira when we speak privately. Evan blinked. Are you sure? She nodded gently. It is a symbol of trust. A small one, but important. Evan felt honored. Then, thank you, Elira. The princess smiled, and the glowing plants brightened slightly as if responding to her expression. Until tomorrow. Evan, she said. She turned and left through the archway, her silver hair flowing behind her like a trail of light. Evan remained in the garden for a moment, feeling the warm air around him. His heart felt calm but full. He had not expected his first day on Lorenia to unfold like this. He had not expected a simple compliment to draw the attention of a princess. And he certainly had not expected to be asked to teach anything. But something important was happening, something gentle, something new. And deep down, he felt he was becoming part of it. Tomorrow would bring even more surprises. Evan Marlowe woke early the next morning, even before the soft lights of the guest quarters brightened to imitate dawn. He had barely slept. His mind kept replaying the conversation with Princess Elira, and each time he remembered her request, teach me why humans speak from the heart. His stomach filled with nervous energy. He sat up and rubbed his eyes. What am I supposed to teach a princess? He whispered to himself. He wasn't a philosopher or a diplomat. He was just a junior linguistics officer who had accidentally said something embarrassing. Yet the princess saw something meaningful in his words. That thought made him feel both honored and overwhelmed. After dressing in his clean uniform, he stepped into the hallway. Lorenian attendants bowed politely as he passed, their clothing glowing softly with colors that shifted like gentle water. Evan still wasn't used to the elegance everywhere. Even the walls seemed alive with quiet light. One attendant approached him with a calm smile. Human Evan, the princess requests your presence in the East Garden Hall when you are ready. Thank you, Evan said, trying to sound confident. He followed the attendants through long corridors decorated with soft crystal patterns. The palace felt peaceful and warm, like a place made entirely for calm thoughts. As they walked, Evan tried to think of what he could teach Elira about humans. Music, stories, jokes. He hoped she wouldn't expect anything too poetic. When they finally reached the East Garden Hall, Evan saw Princess Elira standing beside a tall window that overlooked the glowing forest below. The morning light filtered through the crystal trees, scattering tiny colors around her. Her lavender skin shimmered gently, and her silver hair caught the light like water. She turned when she sensed his presence. "Good morning, Evan," she said with her soft melodic voice. "I am glad you came." "Good morning. Elira." He corrected himself quickly. Her rule about using her name in private still felt unusual, but he respected her wish. Elira gestured for him to join her near a round table, filled with small crystals, musical shells, and glowing plants. "Today," she said, "I wish to learn about human expression. You spoke of stories. Perhaps we begin there?" Evan took a slow breath. "Okay, yes, stories are good." Elira sat across from him, her posture graceful. Evan sat more awkwardly, trying to look composed. "Tell me a human story," she said. "One that shows human emotion. Something simple." Evan thought for a moment. He didn't want to choose anything dramatic or complicated. Then he remembered a childhood moment, small but important to him. "Well," he began, "when I was little, maybe 5 years old, I wanted to learn how to ride a bicycle. I tried many times, but I kept losing balance and almost tipping over. I felt frustrated. My father held the back of the bicycle and told me not to look at the ground, but look forward." Elira listened with full attention, her eyes calm and bright. Evan continued, "One day, I didn't know he had stopped holding the bicycle. I was riding alone. I didn't notice at first, but when I looked back, he was smiling, and I felt proud and scared at the same time, but mostly proud." Elira tilted her head slightly. "Your father allowed you to experience independence by stepping away," she said slowly, thinking through the idea. "He wanted you to discover your own ability." "Yes," Evan said. "He trusted me, and that trust helped me believe in myself." Elira touched one of the small glowing plants on the table. "Humans value growth through trial. You allow mistakes because they lead to learning." "Pretty much," Evan said with a small smile. "We think it's okay to fail. It's part of life. And we talk about our feelings openly, even when things are hard." She repeated the last line softly. "You talk about your feelings openly." Elira's thoughtful expression made Evan feel like he had said something important. "Lorenians do not share feelings easily," she explained. "We prefer harmony. We avoid direct emotional words because they may cause imbalance. But perhaps balance can come from honesty too." Evan nodded. "Sometimes being honest brings people closer, even if it's a little awkward. Like when you call me beautiful," she said gently. Evan turned pink again. "Yeah, that was very awkward, but also honest," she said. "And it opened a door I did not expect." Her calm tone made Evan relax a little. Elira stood and walked toward a tall crystal shelf. She picked up a small round device shaped like a glowing sphere. "This is a Momaro crystal," she said. "It contains recorded moments, images, voices, memories. Would you like to see something from my childhood?" Evan nodded eagerly. Elira touched the sphere lightly, and a soft projection appeared in the air. It showed a younger version of her, with shorter silver hair and smaller facial light patterns. She was practicing a formal Lorenian greeting while an elder corrected her posture. "You see," Elira said, "even as a child, I was taught to control my expressions. Every movement must be graceful. Every word must be perfect." Evan watched with interest. "So you had to be royal even when you were little?" "Yes," she replied. "It is our tradition. But watching humans, I see another way. You express freely. You laugh loudly. You speak honestly. Even a mistake becomes a part of connection." Evan rubbed his arm shyly. "I don't know if I represent all humans, but we try our best to be genuine. And we like sharing things, like stories, music, jokes." Elira's eyes brightened. "Music," she repeated. "Yes, I wish to hear human music." Evan reached for the small tablet he carried. He had saved a few Earth songs for long trips, mostly soft, simple melodies. He selected a gentle tune played on a piano. When he pressed play, the soft notes filled the hall like falling water. Elira closed her eyes. Her face relaxed completely, and her glowing lines pulsed with soft rhythm. "This," she whispered. "This carries feeling without words." "That's music," Evan said. "It says what we feel, even when we can't speak it." Elira opened her eyes slowly. "It is beautiful." Humans express emotion through sound as naturally as breathing. Evan smiled shyly. Some of us do. Elira sat again, folding her hands gracefully. I understand now why your words yesterday were so powerful. They were not planned. They came from your heart, and they changed the meaning of our meeting. Evan lowered his gaze, not sure what to say. Suddenly, another Lorenian attendant entered the hall quietly. Your Highness, she said, bowing deeply, the council has gathered. They request your presence for a matter of discussion. Elira nodded. Tell them I will join them shortly. When the attendant left, Elira sighed softly. It was the first time Evan had seen her express anything like concern. Is something wrong? He asked gently. The council wonders about Earth, she explained. They question whether our partnership with humans will be beneficial. They fear change. Evan felt a small twist in his chest. Did I cause trouble? Her eyes softened. No, Evan, you brought clarity. Your honesty showed them something they did not expect. But the council must adjust to the idea that emotion can be strength. Evan thought for a moment. If they want, I can explain more about humans. Or speak to them. Or, Elira lifted her hand gently. Not yet. They are not ready. But I am. She looked at him with a sincere expression that made the air feel warm. I will continue learning from you, she said. And through your stories, I will help them understand. Evan swallowed lightly. I'll help however I can. Elira smiled a little. Then this is only the beginning. She took a small glowing crystal from the table and placed it in his hand. A gift, she said. This crystal will glow when someone's emotions are open. It will help you understand our world as I understand yours. Evan held it carefully. It felt warm, almost alive. Thank you, he said softly. I'll take good care of it. Elira nodded. Good. Tomorrow, we continue our lessons. There's much more of humanity I wish to learn. She stepped toward the doorway. Until then, Evan. Until then, Elira. He watched her leave with her quiet grace. And he felt something shift inside him, something warm, hopeful, and gently new. Part 3 had not just taught her about humanity. It had taught him that connection could grow even between worlds. The next day on Lorenia began with soft pink light spreading across the sky. Evan Marlowe woke slowly, still feeling the warmth of yesterday's moments with Princess Elira. He held the small glowing crystal she had given him, watching its gentle light pulse in his hand. The crystal brightened whenever he felt calm or thoughtful, and dim when he worried. At the moment, it glowed steadily soft and warm. He got dressed quickly and stepped out of his room. Lorenian attendants greeted him with polite bows as he walked through the bright corridors. Even though he had only been on the planet for a short time, he felt strangely at ease in the palace's peaceful atmosphere. Everything here was gentle and elegant. The light patterns on the walls shifted like quiet waves, and the air always carried a sweet freshness. He hoped today would be as calm and interesting as the day before. But when he reached the East Garden Hall, he noticed something different. 2 Lorenian attendants were already standing at the entrance, looking slightly tense when they saw Evan. They bowed respectfully but did not smile the way they usually did. Human Evan, one said softly, Her Highness is delayed. The council has requested her presence again this morning. She asked that you wait here until she returns. Evan blinked. Oh, okay. Thank you. He entered the hall, noticing how quiet it felt today. The floating lights that usually drifted softly around the room were still and dim. He sat at the curved crystal bench and waited. He wasn't worried at first, Elira had said. The council was still adjusting to Earth's culture. But after several minutes passed, he began to feel uneasy. He looked at the glowing crystal in his hand. Its light flickered a little. Something is different today, he thought. Just then, the doors opened. Elira stepped into the hall, walking with her usual graceful steps, but Evan could tell immediately that something was troubling her. Her glowing temple lines were dimmer than usual, and her expression looked thoughtful, maybe even worried. Elira? Evan stood quickly. Is everything okay? She paused a moment before answering. The council has concerns, she said gently. More than I expected. Evan's heart tightened. Is it about humans? It is about you, she replied softly. And what your words may represent. Evan froze. My words. But I didn't do anything wrong. I only said, that is the issue, Elira said, moving closer. You spoke openly, honestly, without hesitation. And the council does not know how to understand such directness? Evan sat down slowly. I didn't mean to cause trouble. You did not, Elira said firmly. Please remember that. You did nothing wrong. But the council fears what they do not understand. She walked to the window, looking out at the glowing forest below. Lorenia has always valued calm, balance, and gentle emotion. Words are chosen with great care. But humans, you show emotion openly. You speak from the heart without ritual. This is something new to them. Evan stepped closer. But that's a good thing, right? It's just honesty. Yes, Elira said. But honesty can feel strong, direct, unprotected. And the council worries that such expression may bring change too quickly. Evan sighed quietly. He didn't want to cause problems for anyone, especially not for Elira. What did they say? He asked softly. Elira turned to face him, her eyes calm but serious. They asked if Earth's emotional way might influence our society. They asked if humans will change our traditions. They asked if you are already changing mine. Evan swallowed. And what did you tell them? The truth, she said gently. That you have only shown kindness, sincerity, and curiosity. That you seek to learn and share. Not to disrupt. Evan relaxed slightly. But Elira continued. The council believes your compliment yesterday was not simply an accident. They believe it may show that humans communicate differently, and they do not know how to judge this difference. Evan felt a wave of relief and worry at the same time. So, what happens now? Elira moved closer and sat beside him. Now, they wish to observe. They wish to understand you better. And they want me to decide whether Earth should become a formal partner in cultural exchange. Me? Evan repeated. But I'm just a junior officer. You are the first human many of them have seen speak from the heart, she said. And the first human to speak to me so openly. Evan looked down, feeling a bit overwhelmed. I never wanted to make anyone nervous. I just said what I felt. That is what they fear. Elira said softly. But it is also what I admire. Evan looked up at her. Her expression had softened again, glowing gently like before. Evan. She continued, the council asked me if your way of speaking changed how I view humans. And it did. Evan's heart skipped a beat. In a good way, in a meaningful way, she said gently. You showed me that sincerity can be simple, that emotion can be safe, and that words can connect to people even when they come from different worlds. Evan exhaled slowly. So what happens next? Elira stood gracefully. I will speak to the council again this afternoon. I will argue for a new kind of cooperation, one that blends human expression with Lorenian harmony. Will they listen? Evan asked quietly. Elira paused, turning to look at him. Some will. Some will not. But I must try, because I believe your presence here matters. Evan felt something warm spread through his chest. Until then, she continued. I want us to continue our lessons. If I am to speak for humanity, I must understand humanity deeply. Evan nodded quickly. I'm ready to teach. Whatever you want to know. Elira smiled softly. Good. Today, I wish to learn about human creativity, how you imagine, how you dream. Evan laughed lightly. Dreams? I don't even understand my own dreams. Elira sat again. Then perhaps we learn together. They spent the next hour exchanging simple stories, human dreams of flying, of exploring the stars, of creating art and building friendships. Elira listened to every detail, sometimes closing her eyes to picture the scenes Evan described. When Evan told her that humans often imagine impossible things simply because it makes them happy, she paused thoughtfully. Humans dream for joy, she said softly. Lorenians dream for balance. We imagine what feels peaceful. But your dreams reach beyond reality. That's true, Evan agreed. Even kids on Earth imagine traveling to other planets long before they learn science. And now you are here, she said quietly, a human child's dream fulfilled. Evan smiled. I guess so. Their lesson ended when a soft bell chimed through the hall. Elira stood. The council is ready, she said. Evan stood too. Do you want me to come with you? Elira shook her head. Not yet. They are not ready to speak with you directly, but your stories will help me speak for you." Evan nodded, though he felt a bit nervous. "I hope I didn't make things worse. You made things honest," she said. "And honesty is not a weakness." She stepped closer, placing her hand gently over the crystal he held. The crystal glowed brightly at her touch. "This light," she said softly, "shows your sincerity. I will carry this truth with me today." Evan felt warmth fill his chest again. "Elira, thank you." The princess turned toward the door. Before leaving, she gave him one final calm smile. "Have hope, Evan. Change begins with understanding, and understanding begins with one honest moment." He watched her walk away, her silver hair catching the light, glowing like the rising morning sun. When she was gone, Evan sat alone in the quiet hall, holding the glowing crystal close. He didn't know what the council would decide. He didn't know if they would accept humans or reject them. But he knew one thing: Princess Elira believed in him, and that was enough to keep hope alive. Tomorrow, everything could change. Evan Marlowe waited in the East Garden Hall longer than he expected. The light inside the room shifted gently from morning pink to soft golden tones as time passed. He held the glowing crystal in his hands, watching its warm light pulse slowly. As if it shared his emotions, Princess Elira had gone to speak with the council. She had gone with confidence, but Evan still felt nervous. He kept replaying every moment of the last few days in his mind, the compliment that slipped out, the lessons they shared, the stories he told. It all felt unbelievable, like something out of a dream. He looked out the tall window that opened toward the shimmering crystal forests below. The trees glowed with calm blue and violet light. Even the breeze seemed gentle, as if the whole planet breathed slowly and peacefully. Lorenia was so different from Earth, yet Evan felt a strange connection to it now. A soft sound suddenly echoed from the entrance. The door opened, and Princess Elira stepped into the hall. Evan stood up immediately. "Elira," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "How did it go? What did the council decide?" Elira did not answer at first. She approached slowly, her expression calm but unreadable. Her glowing temple lines were bright, not dim, which Evan hoped was a positive sign. She stopped a short distance from him. "Evan," she said in a steady voice, "the council has made their decision." Evan held his breath. Elira's eyes softened. "They agreed to a partnership?" Evan blinked. They agreed?" "Yes," she said with gentle warmth. "They accepted my proposal. Lorenia and Earth will begin a formal cultural exchange program. We will learn from one another, grow together, and share knowledge." Evan couldn't stop his smile. Relief washed through his entire body. "Elira, that's amazing." She nodded quietly. "It is a new beginning for our worlds." Evan stepped closer, excitement lighting his face. "So, what changed their minds?" "I thought they were scared." Elira took a slow breath. "They were afraid. But fear softens when understanding grows. When I explained your stories, your dreams, your honesty, they saw that humans are not careless or wild. They saw that emotion can bring connection, not harm." Evan felt warmth spread in his chest. Elira continued, "I told them that your words were not a breach of respect. They were a gift of simple truth spoken from the heart. And truth, even when unexpected, carries sincerity." Evan laughed softly. "I still can't believe my clumsy compliment started all this." Elira smiled gently. "Sometimes the smallest moment leads to great change." She paused and then added, "But it was not only your words. It was your willingness to share your culture, your kindness, your patience, your openness." The council saw the value in all of it. Evan lowered his gaze slightly, touched by her words. "I just wanted to help, and you did," she replied. They stood together in peaceful silence for a moment, surrounded by the gentle glow of the hall. Then Elira gestured toward the window. "Walk with me," she said. "There's more I wish to share." Evan followed her down a curved hallway that opened into a wide outdoor terrace. For the first time, he stepped outside the palace walls. The terrace overlooked the bright forests, and soft light floated around them like tiny stars. "It's beautiful out here," Evan said quietly. Elira nodded. "This is one of my favorite places. I come here when I need calm thoughts." Evan walked beside her, enjoying the warm breeze. So, what happens next? Will Earth send more people? More teachers? More diplomats? Yes, Elira said. And Lorenia will send learners, artists, and scholars to Earth. We will exchange ideas, share traditions, and understand each other. Evan grinned. Humans will love that. We're always curious. That curiosity, Elira said softly, is your strength. They reached a small round platform where soft glowing petals drifted in the air. Elira turned to face him fully. There's something else I must tell you, she said. Evan straightened, listening closely. The council has asked me to choose a representative from the Earth delegation to help guide the early stages of the exchange. Someone who understands both human expression and Lorenian values. Evan nodded slowly. Okay, that makes sense. Elira continued gently. I chose you. Evan froze. Me? But why me? I'm just a junior officer. I'm not the smartest or the most experienced. You are sincere, she said. You speak honestly. You listen. You try to understand before you judge. And you have already built a bridge between us without meaning to. Evan opened his mouth but couldn't speak at first. Elira stepped a little closer. Evan, you helped me see humanity more clearly. Now I want you to help Lorenia see humanity the same way. Evan finally managed a small, shaky breath. I don't know if I can do something that important. You can, Elira said firmly. Because you already have. Evan lowered his eyes, thinking about her words. He remembered the moment he first saw her in the reception chamber, how he froze, how he spoke without thinking. He had been embarrassed. But now, that simple truth had grown into something much bigger. I'll do it, he said softly. If you believe I can, then I'll do my best. Elira smiled, and the light around them seemed to brighten in response. Thank you, Evan. She reached out and gently touched the glowing crystal still in his hand. This crystal, she said, connects to emotion. It shows truth. Keep it with you. It will remind you of what you have already accomplished. Evan held the crystal closer, feeling its warm pulse. I'll treasure it. A peaceful moment settled between them. Then Elira lifted her eyes toward the bright horizon. Soon, Earth and Lorenia will stand together as partners. And when future generations ask how it began, they will hear of a young human who spoke from the heart. Evan felt his face warm with shy pride. You really think people will remember that? Elira nodded. Yes, honest words shape new worlds. Evan chuckled softly. Well, I'm glad my honesty didn't cause a disaster. Elira's smile widened. It created understanding, not disaster. They stepped closer to the terrace railing, looking out over the glowing landscape. The sky shimmered gently, and soft crystals in the forest changed color with the breeze. Two worlds were changing together slowly, gently, and with hope. Evan took a deep breath of the sweet Lorenian air. Elira, yes, Evan, I'm really glad I met you. Elira looked at him with calm, grateful eyes. And I'm glad you spoke those unexpected words. Evan laughed lightly. The ones that made me want to hide under a table? Yes, she said softly. Those words. They opened a door between our worlds. They stood there together, watching the horizon brighten. Evan realized that he felt peaceful, deeply peaceful in a way he had never felt before. Elira turned slightly toward him. This is only the beginning. Yes, Evan said. A new beginning. And in that quiet moment, surrounded by soft, glowing light, they both understood something simple and pure. Sometimes one honest moment can bring two worlds closer than anyone ever imagined.